Utah doctor could write prescriptions 3 years before he could legally drink alcohol.
Now, along with his medical practice, he's a professor, researcher, and entrepreneur. Fox 13's Max Roth is back with the story of a man of vision. Max?
Yeah, Bob and Hope. In fact, it took an act of the New York State Legislature to allow him to be a doctor at 18 years old. Now, stories of prodigies are always fascinating. But here's a question. Do you want Doogie Howser taking a knife to your eye and gluing it back together? Well, I answered yes, along with thousands of patients here in Utah and around the world.
And left. And down. And right.
That's me, sitting across from one of the world's great prodigies, Dr. Bala Ambadi of the Moran Eye Center at the University of Utah. That thing growing across the iris onto the pupil of my left eye, it's called a pterygium.
It is red. It is affecting your vision and causing some trouble.
Dr. Bala Ambadi is a world-class specialist in transplanting corneal tissue, and he holds a world record, earning an MD at a younger age than anyone ever.
Everything I've done is really due to God's grace and family support.
But what kind of family support gets you through med school by 17?
I don't think my parents were like Tiger Mom or Tiger Dad, but the same underlying aspiration or hope, that your children do the best they can and reach their full potential.
Take a look at the pictures of his childhood. Mom, Dad, Big Brother, looking at textbooks?
I'd say Tiger Light.
Ambadi's parents paved the way for his early achievement, pushing school administrators to let him go at his incredible pace. And the world record?
I think it was in high school that we realized, and we as in myself and family, realized that on present pace that this was an achievable thing.
Ambadi says at 35, he's right where he wants to be. Being a doctor at 17 means a lot more seeing eyes around the world.
There's a very cruel saying in India, a blind person is a mouth with no hands.
He flies to developing countries 3 or 4 times a year. Here, he's in the world's only non-military flying hospital.
One cornea theoretically could help 3 patients.
So does this medical academic Superman have any kryptonite? Yes.
This was at a Elmhurst Hospital in a city hospital in New York, and seeing a trauma patient come in, multiple gunshot wounds, and the patient, dying on the table. That was hard. I was 16. I hadn't actually seen anyone die before.
Still, he's found that fighting blindness is often a way to stave off death.
This is like Africa or in India. Blindness is not just a vision disease, it's a lethal disease. Life expectancy for a blind person in many of these countries is less than 3 years.
My problem is, but his work is still impressive. That tissue he's lifting from my eye, the membrane he's gluing in its place, that's a procedure that wasn't available even 4 years ago.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
We should have had an alternate soundtrack where you could hear Hope groan during those shots of the surgery, and probably a lot of you at home too. Hope I didn't gross you out. He's an impressive guy. Dr. Ambadi learned ophthalmology at Harvard University. He studied further at Duke. Then he got his PhD in cell biology, and when he got to the U, he decided to get his MBA. Now he has his own firm. It's called Ivina, to build on his research, and somehow he found to create an app for Androids, iPhones, iPads.
Holy cow.
So if you're not too exhausted just hearing about all of this, we can link you to all of this stuff on fox13now.com. We'll put those up.
Max, how's your eye now?
It's great. You saw that thing on my iris? I hadn't seen half of my iris for years, and it's just wonderful.
Wow. Great story. Thank you so much, Max.